Hi. So it's been about a year ago since Cubase 12 was released. So when can we expect the next version? Let's ask the Oracle. Okay, fair enough. But let's have a look at what we can find about Cubase 13 at the moment. Let's go. Yeah, like I mentioned in the intro, Cubase 12 is about a year old. And if we look at the regular release schedule of Cubase, and this is from the Wikipedia article on Steinberg Cubase, if you scroll down, you can see that there's a list of all major Cubase versions that were released, starting from April '89 even. Cubase 12 was released March 2nd last year. And before that, you could see a pretty regular release schedule, probably starting from Cubase 7, where towards the end of the year, there would be a Cubase release. Next year, there would be a 0.5 release. Next year, another major version, 0.5. With Cubase 9.5, they switched to November release dates, which they upheld until Cubase 12, which did not fit into the pattern. So this release was a bit later than expected, as well as the fact that it was not a 0.5 release. Again, probably due to the fact that this was a major upgrade in the licensing system, which apparently they felt was enough to go to the next major version. Now, with that being said, there was no release last November either, at the end of 2022. There has not been a new release in March yet either. So let's speculate a bit about the question, when can we expect the next version of Cubase? And what version will it be? Will it be 12.5? Will it be 13? And remember, at this moment, it's pure speculation, but I can have a look at what is out there already about this. Just for fun and see it a bit as a light subject for the video this time. Now, first of all, I think you have to remember that previously there was a release every year, and this obviously generated revenue for Cubase. I think a 0.5 version upgrade costed around $50 or 50 euros, and the upgrade to the next major version, I think it was the same amount, or maybe it was $100 or euros, I can't even remember anymore. So this would generate somewhere between 100 and 150 dollars every 2 years for Steinberg, from all the people that do follow the upgrade path, of course. So considering that business incentive, I would expect that any new release schedule that they come up with generates about the same revenue. Now let's have a listen to what Mr. Steinberg himself, Greg Ondo, is saying about this on the two most recent Cubase live streams. So this is from the live stream on February 10th.
Hey Greg, do you know when and if Steinberg will release Cubase 13? So there's no release date that's been announced. I'm sure that they will. I'm almost positive they will release a Cubase 13. We don't necessarily want to announce stuff. You know, one, I think it's annoying to customers, they're talking about it and I can't have it. So generally Steinberg will just kind of, when it's ready, and then it'll be released when it's all ready to go. So, but yeah, it is being worked on. And there's parts of Cubase 14 that are being worked on, and parts of Cubase 15 that are being worked on.
So yeah, we don't get a lot of information from that, but it seems to confirm that the next version will be Cubase 13 and not Cubase 12.5. And another interesting thing that we learned from this is that they're already working on features of the upcoming release and even the release after that, Cubase 15. Again, he's not talking about 0.5 versions in that, so maybe we're going to progress from major version to major version from now on. Now, in the March live stream 1 month later, somebody asked the same question again. Let's have a listen to that.
Greg, when Cubase 13 released or realized? Generally we don't announce stuff. I would say it's not imminent, but we generally don't announce stuff before it's available. We think it's kind of an annoying thing to do. Rest assured that, probably a lot of people haven't utilized all the functions in Cubase 12. But, as we get closer to release, as soon as we can talk about it, we will.
So again, not a lot of very specific info, but he did say that it's not imminent and that there's still a lot to explore in Cubase 12. So from that statement, I would speculate that at least it's not going to happen within the next month. Now, there's also a speculative thread on the Steinberg forums about the Cubase 13 release. Let's have a look at that. Cubase 13, any word on the new update cycle? The thread has 169 posts, so I'll link all of this in the description below so you can have a look yourself. But if you look at this thread, there's a lot of people that are saying that they'd rather have Steinberg fix the bugs first. And there's even a post from Matthias, one of the guys from Steinberg, in this thread, where somebody mentions Cubase releases are usually on Wednesdays. And Matthias says, well, I can confirm that. That's answered by, is that a teaser, Matthias? And he says, absolutely not. So again, it's more of a joke and it doesn't really give a real clue as to when Cubase 13 will be released. Now, there are some other sensible arguments in this forum thread. For example, the fact that they have just released Halion 7, their sampling engine and editor, and it does not really make sense that yet another product will be released very shortly after the release of Halion 7. So it might take a while. Another argument is the fact that they have just had a sale on Cubase 12 ending March 28, and usually they offer a grace period of about 6 weeks that anybody who has bought the previous version within 6 weeks of releasing the next version will get a free update to the next version. So business-wise, I think it probably does not make sense that anybody who's bought Cubase 12 in the sale period, that they would get Cubase 13 for free on its release if it's within 6 weeks. So considering that timing, I would think Cubase 13 is at least another 6 weeks away from March 28. Other people are speculating that Steinberg may release Cubase 13 on the Wednesday just before the start of the NAMM on April 13th. But again, that would make people eligible for a free upgrade if they bought Cubase 12 in the sale period. So to me, that seems too soon. So I guess ChatGPT was right. At the moment, we can only keep an eye on all the social media channels of Steinberg and see when they start providing any official information about Cubase 13 and its release date. Now, before we take a look at what might be the new features in Cubase 13, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the little bell icon if you want to get notified when I post another video. It really helps out the channel, as well as using the super thanks button below if you're so inclined, or buying anything via the affiliate links in the description to these stores if you intend to buy anything music related. Highly appreciate it. So what new features can we expect in Cubase 13? Let's first ask the Oracle again. So again, not a very specific answer, but more of a generic nod towards automation and MIDI editing, workflow improvements, performance optimizations, and compatibility with the latest hardware and software technologies. And thinking about that, maybe any AI integration into Cubase? But maybe ChatGPT knows which features have been requested for Cubase 13. Alas, no specific information, but we can have a look at the Steinberg forums as suggested. And one of the more noticeable threads on this is this one, my top 10 feature request for Cubase 13, which is by Alexander Pozniakov. Sorry for butchering your name, which I'm sure I did. And he has some nice suggestions here. For example, a temporary snap off, so that you can, for example, push a key, and while you're keeping that key pressed, snap or gridding is turned off in Cubase, so you can move about freely. Folder tracks with group tracks options. So I think that's a combination of a folder track and a group track, where all tracks in a folder are automatically grouped and bussed together, so you can treat them as one item. Smart idea. Yeah, another notable one here is the ability to switch channels from mono to stereo. I've even done a separate video on how you convert between mono and stereo, but it's not as easy as just switching a channel from mono to stereo, because channels in Cubase are either mono or stereo or multi-channel, and you cannot really change that on individual channel basis. And he has a number of other nice suggestions, but not really any really big new things. They're mostly workflow improvements. Now, other people have done some other suggestions for new features. For example, some channel selection optimizations. And of course, some things that are asked for are really already available in Cubase, but you just need to know how to do them. Now, there's also a lot of talk again about first solving bugs before introducing a lot of new high-profile features. And also the bug that I have a separate video about as well is the fact that Cubase currently does not seem compatible with the latest Intel processors. That's also a concern of many members in the forum that post on these threads. Now, for me, I have to say Cubase 12 still works fine for me. I have definitely not explored every new feature in Cubase 12 yet, so I'm not waiting for Cubase 13 or for any bug fixes that prevent me from doing my work in my home studio over here. And for anything else related to Cubase 13, well, I guess we just have to wait and see when it arrives and what it will contain. If you have any more information about this, or have seen some other interesting information about the new Cubase release, please post them in the comments. Don't break any NDAs you signed, of course, but if something's out there already, I would be very interested to have a look at it. Or you have a theory or speculation about when it will be released, by all means, post it below in the comments as well. Now, since a lot of people were talking about solving bugs before releasing a new version with new features, I actually made a separate video about that, which you can check out over here. Have a look, enjoy, and see you soon.